The Jacob Zuma Foundation says that the former president's lawyers and the National Prosecuting Authority's legal team are in discussions to approach the courts to postpone the corruption matter in the KwaZulu-Natal High Court in Pietermaritzburg, as he is still in hospital. Earlier on, we spoke to the foundation's spokesperson, Mr. Mzwanele Manyi.
Indeed, both teams of lawyers have been briefed about the medical situation, and they are both going to jointly approach the judge and seek for a postponement. So I think, if truth be told, the business of the court tomorrow will be to deal with the postponement. This is what is at play at this point.
So it's certain that the legal team of Mr. Zuma is asking for a postponement. Are we certain that the NPA is also asking for a postponement?
Both teams are going to make a joint presentation to the judge. So it's not the one team doing this and the other doing something else. It's going to be a joint approach to the judge.
Let's now take this discussion further then, exploring the impact of the former president's hospitalisation on the case. We're now joined via Zoom by Sinawo Makangela, who is an attorney at Makangela Mtungani Attorneys. Thanks so very much for joining us here on SABC News. A warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Flo, and thank you to the viewers of the SABC News.
Well, it seems that the former president, is unfit at this stage to attend his trial. There's certainly been a lot of delays already to this particular case, and of course, no doubt, there would then be suggestions that this could be another tactic, in fact, by the former president and his team to delay the proceedings. What are your thoughts when you look at the case?
Well, Flo, the proceedings are regulated by the Criminal Procedure Act. So even the postponement itself is not just there for the asking. Any party that wants the matter to be postponed, that application has to meet the requirements that are there in the Act, that is in terms of Section 168. And then the court, if it is satisfied, of course, it may grant that postponement. Now, in this case, because even the Department of Correctional Services has issued a statement, I think a few days ago, to inform the nation about the state of the health of the former president and that he has been admitted in an outside facility. So at least they have created some basis for his defense team now to make that application in court, because obviously it's the common practice in our courts on a daily basis that if an accused person is unable to present himself before courts, there must be something that is tangible that makes him not to be in court.
Yeah.
One of those reasons would be if the party is ill-disposed, he must provide a medical certificate to the satisfaction of the court, which is what I believe is what now the defense will be doing tomorrow before Judge Kun.
Yeah, I mean, as you put it, the onus really is on the defense at this stage to prove that the former president is indeed unfit to proceed with those legal proceedings. But let's talk about the legal options that are sort of available in cases like this, where those who are accused in criminal cases are either too sickly or maybe too elderly to continue to avail themselves for legal proceedings. I mean, one can't say there's a limit as to how many times one can say I'm actually unfit or too sick to attend proceedings, but at some point the process has to continue. So one wonders if there is any sort of a limitation where a court can say, listen, we've kind of heard you a couple of times, we've allowed you to not attend those proceedings a number of times. At what point can the court say, listen, we now have to proceed? I mean, if indeed the defense has indeed shown that the accused can't attend.
In fact, Flo, as I've indicated, that they are regulated by the Criminal Procedure Act. It says from time to time the court may adjourn the proceedings to a date that it is suitable to it, with of course other conditions or whatever order that it may deem appropriate in the circumstances. Now, that's why there is no formula or there is no one-size-fits-all kind of a situation, depending on what is serving before court at that time. Because at least now we can find solace that the trial has started. charges have been put to him. He has pleaded, and then he has raised a special plea. When the matter was to be heard on the previous occasion, he says, hey, I want to come in court. I want my matter to be heard in an open court, not virtually. And then, of course, the judge has ordered that the matter will be heard in an open court. Then something else now has come up. Because if you are dealing with criminal proceedings, you want the trial to be above reproach. You don't want a trial that is questionable.
Yeah.
You want to ensure that justice is being done, and it has to be done. So if any person says, I am not fine, you cannot just say you are not fine. At least there must be a scientific evidence. And that can only come from those who are trained to provide such an opinion. The doctors in this case, as I say, the military, because his health is taken care of by the military health services. So they will be providing his defense team with some documentation to support the application for postponement. That is why even the NPA cannot just insist. But if the defense approaches the NPA will say, okay, please provide us with a proof, so that when we go to Judge Kun tomorrow, at least we would have had sight of that particular document which suggests that he is unfit to stand trial tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, in this particular case, we got reports, and certainly the Jacob Zuma Foundation had indicated in those media reports that the former president was really just going for a routine checkup. Are you of the view that it's a little bit more serious than it is being painted by his team, and certainly those around him and those part of the Jacob Zuma Foundation? I mean, if it was just a sort of routine checkup, then the court would be able to say, well, then bring him to court. He's done with his checkup. Then certainly we can then proceed, then of course, with the case. I mean, are you of the view that there's more to what meets the eye at this time?
Well, we can only assume, because in their own statement, they said it was a normal routine checkup. But once he was in possession of the medical team, it's them who observed him and decided that, look, we need to observe you. We need you to be here for an extended period of time. And that time has affected even the trial, which was scheduled for tomorrow. So it means there is something. We'll be getting an update, of course, I assume, as the nation will be advised about the progress of his health. But they could not just let him go when they see that there's something they need to observe on him.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for giving us your time there. Sinawo Makangela, who's attorney and director at Makangela Mtungani Attorneys. Thank you, sir, for giving us your time then.